Tell me this. Have you ever been in a room with a woman, and without saying a single word, you just knew she felt something for you? Her breathing changes. Her pupils widen. She shifts in her seat. And you didn't crack a joke. You didn't flash your bank account. All you did was exist in a certain way, and she couldn't hide her reaction. What if I told you? There are 5 silent moves that can make this happen, moves so powerful, so primal, that in less than 60 seconds she'll feel that spark deep in her body. She won't be able to explain it, but she'll feel it. And the best part? She won't even realize you did it on purpose. Before we dive in, listen to me. What I'm about to share with you isn't about cheap tricks or fake confidence. It's about mastering presence. The kind of energy that makes women melt before you've even touched them. So, subscribe to this channel, hit that like button, and commit to watching this video till the end. Because once you understand these 5 moves, your love life will never be the same again. Most guys think seduction starts with words, pickup lines, compliments, teasing. But here's the truth. Your body talks louder than your mouth ever will. Women are wired to pick up on subtle cues. The way you look at her, the space you take up, the timing of your touch. These signals bypass her logical brain and go straight to her body's response system. And when you understand how to send the right ones, you don't have to convince her to feel something for you. You just flip the switch. Let's start with the first move. 1. The deep undressing stare. May I inquire of you anything? When you locked eyes with another person, did time seem to stand still? Nothing else existed at that exact instant, right? Perhaps that was the first time you felt interested in someone. Potentially, it was the girl who turned around to face you from across the room, and your pulse began to quicken, but you were oblivious to the cause. Or maybe it was her, this one you cared for, but couldn't keep. You can still see her expression when she first laid eyes on you, can't you? How gentle, that flame. Contrarily, you are also aware of the day it vanished. On that day, she scrutinized you as if you were an alien, and maybe you've been carrying that burden for some time now, curious about the possibility of rekindling that bond. I don't think any lady would ever treat you with that kind of gaze. Take my advice. Those eyes, those sparks aren't coincidental. It's not fate. You have the ability to make it. And it all begins with that profound, unclothed stare. This has nothing to do with being creepy. The key is to be present. It's all about staring at her as if she were the only woman on earth. Really believing it at that very second. My want for you is that whenever you meet a woman's gaze, you can't help but think about more than simply her. All the love you've ever felt has been for her. All the kisses you've ever desired. Every second you feared would go away forever. And she has arrived at this very second. Your gaze meets hers. Do not be hurried. The stillness betrayed your true feelings. As you continue to look, your gaze eventually lands on her lips. You hesitate, plus you're subtly communicating with her. I want you. Next, you observe her neck and collarbone. And lastly, returning to her gaze. At least this time, she'll feel completely alone thanks to that subtle magnetic force. How does this work? It's more than simply desire. My remembrance. She feels as if she has entered your tale because of it. Plus, women are reluctant to leave your side if they feel like they're an integral part of your tale. Therefore, if you have ever felt devastated, abandoned, or unsure of how to begin again, bear in mind what the heart believed it had. Lost may be restored via the power of the eyes. 2. The breath pull. Have you ever had the sensation of someone's breath on your skin because they were standing so near? Let that sink in. It may have been in a busy area. Perhaps it was an unexpected person. Your skin feeling that little heat. All of a sudden, you found yourself preoccupied with one thing. That's the function of the breath pull. Being close isn't enough. The key is to make the atmosphere between you electric. The truth is, ladies take note of every detail. If you lean in little more than is really required, they will notice. When your voice becomes weak, others take note. When you speak more slowly, when your mouth moves over their face or ear. Furthermore, those few moments may pack a significant emotional punch for people who have experienced tragedy or the loss of a loved one, because they were the moments before the farewell. Low voices, being so near, those stray sparks that until they were gone you had no idea were so significant. What if, however, you were able to retrieve them? You mean not with her, but with a new person? Here's how. Stand a little closer to her than usual when you're chatting with her. Allow your words to cascade gently. Your voice is soothing and quiet. Not in a hurry. Not really enthusiastic. Very definitely. Breathe into her flesh as you say, not trying to force it, just allowing it to occur naturally. It won't be recognized as a move by her brain. Nevertheless, her physical form will. Her heart rate will change. Her respiration pattern will alter. The best part is you aren't even touching her, which adds to the allure. Instead of working, you're just letting her imagination go wild. In the end, that's what makes others want to be with you. It's not about finding the ideal expression. The goal is to evoke an emotion in her that she did not anticipate. This might be your opportunity to start again. If you've ever had your heart shattered, or been left wondering what went wrong, in order to make memories so powerful, she will remember them even after you're gone. The deliberate slow touch expanded. May I inquire of you anything? Is the memory of her final contact with you fresh in your mind? A deliberate greeting. This is not a friendly remark. The physical contact, the one that for some reason caused you to freeze in mid-movement. It had significance. As you strolled hand in hand, maybe you felt her fingers lightly touching yours. It may have been the touch of her hand on your neck as she drew you close for a kiss. You may have been holding her for the final time before she slipped away. Do you recall it clearly? For the simple reason that physical contact is the most direct form of communication. Words may be made up. Artificial smiles are beyond our capabilities. However, physical evidence is unreliable. The key to the deliberate slow touch is to use that truth slowly, without hurrying, clutching, or pleading. Ladies seldom experience that electric chemistry, because most guys either touch too little or too much, or they make too much too rapid contact, which comes out as aggressive and desperate. But what constitutes the perfect squeeze? It will keep you in her thoughts as she drifts off to sleep each night. Allow me to show you the way. You discover a rationale, an entirely organic rationale, to establish communication. She may be receiving a glass from you. Seems like you may be assisting her with her coat. She may need your assistance navigating a throng. However, there is a notable distinction. When your skin touches hers, you do not immediately withdraw. You allow it to remain. As your fingertips caress her palm, perhaps you place your palm softly on her lower back, a fraction of a second more than is strictly required. Just a moment. It only takes that. Simply said, in that split second, she experiences it. That warmth registers with her brain. Even a little touch triggers an immediate response in her body. For those who have experienced heartache, this is very potent. After a breakup, it's easy to lose sight of the significance of the little things in life that may bring two people closer together. You misunderstand what it takes to captivate someone.
Not at all.
The key is to be present. Plus, you may convey the silent message, "I see you," by touching her gently, purposefully and with meaning. I understand. Plus, I'm present. Additionally, it may be exactly what you've been seeking. Just another meaningless romance. No more pointless evenings. However, genuine bond. The type that begins with a subtle brush. For the frame trap. Return with me for a second. Are the times when you and your partner felt like you were the only ones in the world still fresh in your mind? Perhaps you were seated in a corner of a cafe with a low light source. Or just lounging in your room laughing at nothing in particular. Like carelessly strolling in the rain without a care in the world. Those seconds seemed to float in midair. You seemed untouchable. You two seemed to be in a solitary bubble while you were together. Then it came to a close. The sphere burst. And nowadays, it might seem like you're only observing from the sidelines, while other people enjoy what you were deprived of. However, the reality is that you have the ability to recreate that bubble when meeting a new person. No matter how briefly you've met her, that is the essence of the frame trap. It has nothing to do with ensnaring her in an awkward or hostile manner. It's all about establishing that intimate connection between us. The process is as follows. You may be having a conversation with her in a public place, such as a corridor, a party, or even just on the street. You put one hand on the wall near her or the back of her chair without making a huge motion. She was able to depart unimpeded, absent from her view. Making a frame is all it is. You and she are the only ones in that frame, regardless of the number of people in the area. What makes this function? Reason being, it diverts her attention. It distorts reality as we know it, and she's fixated on you. If you've ever experienced love, you know the sensation, that utter seclusion from the outside world. You may regain that emotion in a flash with the help of the frame trap. Perhaps you have lost touch with the strength of that emotion. If you have experienced sorrow, perhaps you haven't let anybody back into your space because you've been preoccupied with defending yourself. However, consider this. Making that frame is about more than simply welcoming her in. Reconnecting with oneself is an invitation, because it is what you really want for deep inside, beyond mere affection, except for the shared reality you created. And now, piece by piece, moment by moment, you may rebuild it. 5. The lip bite pause. May I inquire of you anything? How long has it been since you last gazed at a female, and in that split second you were both aware that your thoughts were identical? Not because you spoke a word. No, it's not because you shoved her. Something changed, however, in the atmosphere between you two. Perhaps you recall an evening spent with her. Yes, she, the one you cherished and then lost. You know, the one who utterly dominated your world. In the middle of a talk, you noticed that she would sometimes look at your lips, the impact on her breathing. Every time she spoke your name, her voice would droop a little bit. Perhaps you momentarily bit your lip without meaning to, so as not to seduce her. However, this is due to the fact that you were suppressing an urge. On top of that, she was aware. Wow, she was aware. Since it is not a line, the lip bite pause is effective. You don't do it to her. That's just the way it is. Ideally, it would feel like way if she's near enough for you to smell her perfume while you're having a conversation with her. Near enough to make out the specks of light in her eyes to be seen clearly. As you briefly met her lips, your eyes dipped below. You look away. So far you haven't leant in. Just relax and let your gaze settle on it. Then, as if to conceal an unspoken thought, you bite your own lower lip. Mildly, gently, rather slowly. Relatively modest, not phony. The next thing you know, you're staring back into her eyes with that subtle, menacing suggestion that says, I want you. That's why it's effective. Attraction is oftentimes a silent force. It pertains to proposal. It's about giving her room to roam imaginatively without giving too much away. Most guys also misunderstand seduction because they believe it is all about getting more, a little more writing, even more moving, no less pursuing. But true allure? Refraining is key. Getting her to question the reason for that delay is the goal. Allow me to shift the focus to you for a moment. Feeling helpless is a common reaction among those who have experienced heartbreak or who have seen a loved one go. For example, perhaps you no longer know what it takes to light the fuse. Maybe you'll be at a loss for words the next time you meet someone special. However, the reality is, it is still with you. You can still see it. Remember that time you bit your lip without meaning to? That second when for some reason she leaned in closer? I felt it. You did it. You have the option to return it. The next time you're in her presence and you sense a change in the atmosphere, take your time. Silence is golden. Maintain constant eye contact. Experience it fully. Allow yourself to relive every time you've ever desired someone so intensely that you may have passed out. Allow yourself to reflect on every kiss that slipped between your fingers. Then for a little moment, bite your lip. Her silence defies explanation. She may give you a quick grin, peek over at your lips, or even avert her gaze for one instant. However, she will sense it in her core. For the kiss, she will fantasize. The more she fantasizes about it, the more her desire becomes. What I mean is, after experiencing sorrow, it's normal to be hesitant to express your desires again. Too scared to let someone else harm you the way your ex did. As a gift, nevertheless, is desire. Giving it to her gently, methodically, and under control does more than simply make her desire you. One thing you do is tell yourself that you're not dead yet. Love isn't only a matter of security. Here, risk plays a key role. It's about those silent moments when you reveal your true self to another person. The next time you're in her company, and there's a heavy silence between you two. Stay put, simply let the pause to remain. Bite your lip during that interval.